Hello and welcome. This is McGoobage. My name is Andy and this is a fairly new YouTube channel. For those of you that have seen my channel before, you would have seen that I did 2 playthrough series last season and got sacked twice in non-league. I'm useless with tactics. The thing is, I know there are plenty of people out there that also are. You're a bit like me, you struggle. So, I've been on the community forums, I've been around different websites, and I'm going to put together a tactical experiment. Now this experiment will be 4 of the most popular tactics tested with every single Premier League team, starting with the top 6 this week and then moving forward to the rest of the Premier League, just to see how effective they actually are. Now there are 2 types of people that play Football Manager, in my view. It's those that have the time to create and develop their own tactics, and there are those that don't have the time, that would love to have the time to develop their own tactics but need to play the game for an hour or a couple of hours a day or a couple of hours a week. They just want to download a popular one and give it a whirl. Hopefully these videos will give you a bit of a guide as to what tactics work with each team to help get me started. Let's get straight into it. Tactic number 1 is by Knap, who's a popular poster on the forums, the SI community forums, and it's the 4-2-3-1 Beowulf. There's plenty of different versions on here. He tests I think on FM Touch and things like that. It's the Giraffin version that we're going to be using. That is tactic number 1. That's a 4-2-3-1 formation. I'll go into it when we get into the game, but that's tactic number 1. Tactic number 2 is by Fuss, Minimal Fuss, Fastidious I should say. Again, a regular poster. He's a regular poster on this particular forum, and I'm using the stable version 2. So all the links to the tactics will be in the description. Minimal Fuss, Fastidious, version 2, the 4-1-2-2-1 formation. Tactic number 3 is by Rossler, who is another brilliant technician, and he's a regular poster on the forums. His is the Steadfast, a flat 4-1-4-1 formation. Very, very popular, and again he has a lot of success with his tactics. This will be implemented as tactic number 3. Tactic number 4 will be Jamie's 4-2-3-1 Attacking Catenaccio with set pieces. This is a very popular tactic on his Twitch channel, and this is going to be tactic number 4. Hello and welcome to the 11th video of this series of the tactical test. I am McGoobage, my name's Andy, and today we are focusing on Crystal Palace. So make sure you check out the other 10 videos in the series. We're checking every single Premier League team with the 4 of the most popular tactics on the forum. Now, if this is the first time you've seen one of these videos, what we do is we put all the staff in charge. If you have a look at this, responsibilities, the staff are in charge of everything: recruitment, contracts, training, everything. I'm not involved at all in all of this. It's all the staff. Even the first team tactical briefings is done by the assistant manager. So what happens is we load through one of these tactics, select the best players, the strongest players, based on the game and how the game rates these players, into each tactic, and then we run it through for a whole season on holiday to see how it all plays out. Now, every single tactic is slightly different. Some players won't fit each position, but they are the strongest players in the squad as per the game, and for consistency purposes, we're going to select those players even if they don't really fit the position. So, tactic number 1 is by Knap. It's the Beowulf. It's the Tick attacker style 4-2-3-1 wide. It's attacking and in possession, slightly shorter passing to space, play out of defence, lower cross, run at defence, work the ball into the box. You overlap on both sides with a slightly lower tempo. Transition, you take short kicks, you distribute to the fullbacks, you counter and you counter press. And out of possession, you defend narrow with a high defensive line and line of engagement. Extremely urgent. You prevent the short goalkeeper distribution, get stuck in using tighter marking, and you play with the offside trap. So, goalkeeper on defend, Gaeta. 2 wing-backs on attack, Suarez and Wan-Bissaka. 2 ball-plan defenders, Dan and Sacco. Deep line playmaker, Milosevic. On support with MacArthur, box-to-box support. 2 inside forwards, Zaha and Townsend, with Max Meyer as the attacking midfielder on attack. Up front is Ayew, the advanced forward, again based on the ratings of the game. Let's load this season through and see what happened. So here we go, and it looks as though we've been sacked that first season. Let's have a look. Yeah, we were sacked when we were 16th position. So let's just have a look at the history, managers. So we were sacked at the end of the season, 19th of May, which is not too bad. So let's have a look at the players' schedule. So we started off in the Premier League with a win over Tottenham to win 3-2. We lost to West Ham, beat West Ham 5-4, and then beat Wycombe in the EFL Cup, second round. Then a bit of a bad month. Premier League, lost to Arsenal, lost to Newcastle, lost to Everton, then lost in the EFL Cup third round to Fulham. Beat Cardiff in the Premier League. Into October, drew with Southampton, lost heavily to Chelsea and Man City. November this time, we lost to Leicester, lost to Huddersfield, drew with Bournemouth, lost heavily to Liverpool, Premier League. Beat Brighton, lost to Man United, drew with Wolves, lost to Tottenham. Then we picked up in 5 games. We beat Fulham in the Premier League, drew with Burnley, beat Watford, won the FA Cup third round against Hull, and then beat West Ham in the Premier League. But that all come to a shuddering halt when they lost 7-1 away or at home to Arsenal. Drew with Fulham in the FA Cup fourth round and won the replay 1-0. Beat Newcastle in the Premier League, lost to Everton, lost to Cardiff. Beat QPR in the FA Cup fifth round, lost to Southampton and Chelsea. Drew with Man City, lost to Leicester, drew with Huddersfield, lost the FA Cup sixth round to Man City, and lost the Premier League to Bournemouth. They drew with Liverpool, they lost to Brighton and Man United, but 3 wins at the end of the season looks as though it's kept them up in the league, beating Wolves, Burnley and Fulham. Let's have a look at the players, average ratings. Let's have a look. I mean, there's not that many players that have played most of the season. So the ones that played most of the season: goalkeeper Gaeta 6.92, MacArthur 6.89, Tompkins 6.86. Let's have a look. Scott Dan 6.74. So not great. So disappointing season. They finished 16th in the Premier League, and those 3 wins pushed them away from the relegation zone. So that's tactic number 1. So here we go. This is tactic number 2, and it's the minimal fastidious tactic. It's a 4-1-4-1 DM wide. The mentality of the tactic is positive, and it's worth noting here that this is the tactic with the least amount of instruction. So, in possession, shorter passing, play out of defence, work the ball into the box with a lower tempo and waste time. Transition, you roll it out, you distribute to the fullbacks, you counter and you counter press. Now, out of possession, a high defensive line, short goalkeeper distribution and use of the offside trap. So, in goal, Gaeta, sweeper keeper on defend with 2 wing-backs on support, Suarez and Wan-Bissaka. Dan and Sacco this time as centre defenders on defend. Milivojevic is defensive midfielder on defend. MacArthur's box-to-box midfielder support. Maya is a Mazzala on attack. 2 inside forwards, Zaha and Townsend on support, with Ayew the deep line forward on attack. Let's see how this plays out. Tactic number 2, and we're sacked again. Right, so they were sacked when they were in 16th position. Now let's just see when we were sacked. Managers. So we were sacked on the 10th of February, which is not good at all. So let's have a look at the schedule. 10th of February, remember that date? So Premier League, drew with Tottenham away to start the season, so at home, and Watford away. Then beat West Ham, so unbeaten in 3 games. Then beat Crewe, EFL Cup second round. Lost to Arsenal and Newcastle Premier League before they beat Everton. Then lost to Aston Villa, EFL Cup third round. So Premier League, Cardiff, they beat away, drew with Southampton at home, lost to Chelsea at home, lost to Man City away. Into November now, beat Leicester, lost to Huddersfield, drew with Bournemouth. Not many wins here, which obviously culminated in the sack, but December, Drew with Liverpool and Brighton, lost to Man United and Wolves, drew with Tottenham and Fulham, and then lost to Burnley. Into January, they beat Watford in the Premier League, beat Aston Villa convincingly in the FA Cup, lost to West Ham and Arsenal, then lost to Brentford, FA Cup 4th round away. Lost to Newcastle in the Premier League, beaten heavily away at Everton 5-0, and then drew with Cardiff 1-1, and that was when we were sacked. So the remainder of the season, there was only two other wins in that particular season. They carried on, they beat Man City and Huddersfield, but they lost to Leicester, they lost to Brighton, Man United, Chelsea, Wolves, Burnley, Fulham, drew with Liverpool and Bournemouth. Unfortunately, it looks as though they couldn't be saved, and yet Crystal Palace were relegated that season. Let's have a look at the player performances and see if we can see average ratings. So, Tompkins, 32 games, 6.98. Zaha, 6.89. Valero, Aloni, come in. He didn't play most of the season. Townsend, 40 appearances, 8 goals and 6.88. He was the top scorer, which is disappointing. So yeah, disappointing tactic number 2 with Crystal Palace. They were relegated and we were sacked in February. That's tactic number 2. Okay, this is tactic number 3, and tactic number 3 is Rosler's Steadfast 4-1-4-1 version 2. It's an attacking tactic, despite the fact that it looks like it's defensive. Sit in possession, slightly shorter passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses, run at defence, work the ball into the box, but focus play through the middle. Transition, take short kicks, counter press. Out of possession, you defend narrower, high defensive line and line of engagement. Extremely urgent. Short goalkeeper distribution, you look to prevent, and you play the offside trap. Guides out in goal is the sweeper keeper on defend. 2 complete wing backs this time, Suarez and Wan-Bissaka, both on attack. 2 centre backs on defend, Dan and Sacco. Milivojevic is a half back this time on defend. 2 wide midfielders on attack, Zaha and Townsend. As you can see, they don't fit the roles, but they're the strongest. MacArthur and Maya are box-to-box midfielders on support. I use the false 9 on support up front. Let's see how tactic 3 plays out and if we're going to get sacked again. Yep, tactic number 3, and we were sacked again. 19th position we were sacked. Let's have a look when we were sacked. So we were sacked on the, 17th of December, January. We didn't even make the year out. 17th of December we were sacked. So let's have a look at the schedule. So, Premier League. Lost heavily to Tottenham and then Watford in the Premier League, but beat West Ham. Beat Carlisle EFL Cup 2nd round. Premier League. Lost to Arsenal. Lost to Newcastle, conceding a lot of goals. Lost to Everton and then lost the EFL Cup to Huddersfield, followed by defeat to Cardiff. 5 defeats in a row. Drew with Southampton and Chelsea, but then lost to Man City Premier League. November. Beat Leicester 5-2 Premier League. Drew with Huddersfield, drew with Bournemouth, drew with Liverpool, drew with Brighton, drew with Man United. Lost to Wolves at home 3-0, and that was the date that we were sacked, the 17th of December. So if you then have a look at the remainder of the season, they beat Portsmouth in the FA Cup 3rd round and Birmingham in the FA Cup 4th round. Beat Man United FA Cup 5th round. Lost to Man City in the 6th round of the FA Cup. Premier League, so let's have a look. They won 1, 2, 3, 4 games in the Premier League. The remainder, or the last 5 months of the season, loads of defeats and loads of draws. And unfortunately, in the Premier League, Crystal Palace were relegated again. Not good. Average ratings for the players. Zaha, 7.06, 28 appearances, 7 goals and 5 assists. Townsend, 7.0, 34 games, 8 goals, 9 assists. Van Aanholt played 21 games, 6.86. Maya, 6.86, 38 games. Wan-Bissaka, 6.84. So, very disappointing, you have to say. Disappointing performance, relegated again, and sacked for a 3rd time running. It's tactic number 3. So this is the final tactic. It's the FM Scout Catenaccio. It's the attacking tactic, 4-2-3-1 wide. In possession, shorter passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses, work the ball into the box, but focus the play down both sides in this one with a lower tempo. Transition, you distribute to fullbacks, you counter and counter press. And out of possession, you defend narrower, high defensive line in line of engagement. Extremely urgent, prevent the short goalkeeper distribution. You're asked to get stuck in using tighter marking and the offside trap again. So, Guaita is in goal, defend. 2 wing-backs on attack, Soare and Wan-Bissaka. 2 ball-playing defenders again on defend, Dan and Sacco. You have a deep-line playmaker on support, MacArthur. Box-to-box, Milivojevic. Inside forward is Zaha and Townsend on support. Maya is the advanced midfielder, attacking midfielder on attack, with advanced forward on attack, Ayew. Let's see how this plays out. And we were sacked for a 4th time. So the tactic didn't work. Any of the tactics worked. We were sacked every time. So we were sacked when they were 17th. And let's see when we were sacked. Oh my word, this is even earlier. 8th of December. Wow. So let's have a look at their schedule. Premier League. Started off with defeat at home to Tottenham. Big defeat to Watford away. Drew with West Ham. Beat Scunthorpe on penalties in the EFL Cup's 2nd round. Drew with Arsenal in the Premier League, lost to Newcastle, beat Everton 4-2 Premier League, and then lost to Arsenal, EFL Cup 3rd round. Drew with Cardiff, lost to Southampton, Chelsea and Man City heavily in the Premier League. Beat Leicester, lost to Huddersfield, drew with Bournemouth, lost to Liverpool, beat Brighton 4-1, but then lost heavily to Man United 5-1. And it's noted that one of the defenders was sent off on 22 minutes. And that was the game that sealed our fate. We were then sacked. So, remainder of the season looks to be a little bit outstanding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wins in the Premier League. With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 draws. Defeats in the Premier League. There was only 5 more defeats, which is good. Let's just have a look. FA Cup 3rd round. They lost in the 3rd round on penalties, the replay. There's some beat Cardiff, beat Leicester, beat Bournemouth, Brighton, Liverpool, Man United, Wolves, which is good performances. There's no other real big defeats after that. So whatever tactic they played and changed, it worked. And they finished a respectable 10th with those 9 wins, which is 27 points. And that pushed them right up into the mid-table position. But that's been tactic number 4. And every single one has been disappointing with Crystal Palace. It just shows you that certain tactics with certain teams just don't work. So that's it. That's the end of this particular tactical test. What do you think of the video? What do you think of those particular tactics? All the links to the tactics are in the description below. If you like the video, please hit the like button for me. It helps me build this channel. And please subscribe for more videos. There'll be a video of every single Premier League team with the same 4 tactics to see how they do. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the bell for notifications for when these next videos come out. Thank you very much. Show your support, and I'd love to know all your comments. Let me know what you think of the tactics. Let me know what you think if you download them and play them. And just, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.